Hey friends, happy Friday. We are live from Wild Birds Unlimited in Joliet. My name's Ellen, and on Fridays we go live to tell you what's new, what's happening at the store. Today we're actually going to be doing a short live. I'm not feeling very well today, so we're going to do a quick one today, but nonetheless it's going to be a good one. All right, starting off with our events, because tomorrow we have a great presentation in store only. It's called Creating Seasonal Beauty, Native Plants for Four-Season Interest. That's what presented by Kelsey Shaw, co-owner of Possibility Place Nursery. So if you really want to learn how to create a native plant landscape in your own yard that has all those ornamentals, but also interests every season of the year, this is that presentation for you. So whether you're a beginner or a experienced gardener, this presentation you will find something worth it. And he is such a great presenter, and he's very, very knowledgeable on plant species and how to use them in the native landscape. So that one is happening at 11 o'clock. We still have a few empty seats available. So if you would like to come in for that presentation, you can sure stop in. But if you really want a seat, make sure you give us a call before 11 o'clock so that I can put your name on a seat so I can reserve that seat for you, all right? The next weekend, though, we have quite a big weekend. Friday and Saturday, May 2nd and 3rd, we have our first in-person native plant sale hosted by Good Steward Ecoscapes. Andrew has a whole bunch of plants that he's bringing in. It should be really, really good. I'm really excited. That sale is on both days from 10 to 4 p.m. Again, it's in person. So you come in the store and shop his selection of plants in a variety of size containers. So come by for that. But also on Saturday morning, that's May 3rd, is our bird outing at Possibility Place Nursery. So if you haven't already and you are interested in joining this event, you got to give us a call so I can put your name on the list for the tours. All right, so how that works is that we're going to go out to Possibility Place Nursery, and we get this special opportunity to do a birding tour out there. They have an incredible, not only in their beautiful landscape, obviously a bunch of native plants which host native insects which feed native birds. And we know majority of our birds that are coming up this way are big insectivores. So this is the time for native plants to shine because they are drawing in all the birds. So come by for this event. We're having Will County Audubon. They're going to be leading tours with a expert of Possibility Place Nursery staff member to lead us through their property to find all the best birding locations. So, and the Will County Audubon leaders are going to help make sure that we don't miss any birds along the way. So there are going to be smaller groups depending on how many people we actually have come for this event, but they'll be in smaller groups and we'll go out in rounds. So be sure you call to let us know that you're coming so that we can appropriately schedule all the groups. But we hope to be done before noon, so we're hitting prime warbler time. So it starts at 9 o'clock, but we hope to be done by noon. All right? Let's get to it. We have a couple new things that have come in. First, I want to show you our new window gems. So we have had, this one, the Hummingbirds before, but they're back in stock now. And then Frogs is new, and I just love these guys. I want to show you the back because there's a couple of them. There are 8 in this pack, and they all have all these different kinds of designs from these frogs. They are so cute. I know how much you guys love frogs here. Besides your birds, you love your frogs. So we have new frog window gems available in store. All right. Also new, I don't know if you can see over here, we have some new items from Echo Valley. They do wonderful outdoor decor, and one of them are these lollipop globes. These are on stakes. They do not light up, but they sure make a statement in any yard. We had them around winter last year. They kind of came in late of season, but nonetheless, they went really popular over Christmas season, but they're back with, we have a few more that just came in this week. Also, these guys, these are like flowers that do have a light. I will show it to you online probably next week sometime so I can show you in the dark. They do light up. There's a multicolored, so not only is this beautiful glass flower, and I love all the colors. They're like a sparkly color to them. One's like a purpley red, the other one's a yellow and green, and they both have the center orb, which has the lighted part in it, where you turn it on and off, and you can replace batteries in it. So that's here. Comes with an awesome metal stake to it, really heavy duty. It's gonna be great in everyone's yard. So those are some of the new items that came in. But the main thing that we're talking about today is spring migration. So Birdcast just stated that 304 million birds will be traveling tonight. So across the United States. It's a pretty cool time. So if you really want to help migrating birds, there's a couple things you can do. Number one, and most importantly, is if you can dim or turn off non-essential exterior lighting. This helps migrating birds immensely. And the reason is because exterior lights can confuse them as they're traveling during the nighttime. So we don't want them to get confused, and we don't want them to have any collisions with windows and things like that. So be sure that you can try to help them out by keeping those non-essential lights, exterior lights, dimmed low, or turn them off altogether. It will greatly help them. Two other things you can do to really help migrating birds this time of year is providing fresh, clean water. Big, big importance. All birds, whether they are feeder birds or not, need water. They not only need it to stay hydrated, but they need it for feather condition. They maintain their feathers, they move the preening oils around them using water. So you can help these birds out by providing fresh, clean water. Also, what you can do is provide nutritious food. That could be a seed blend, it could be seed cylinders, it could be bark butter, mealworms, or a mixture of them all. The fun thing about this time of year is with a variety of food, you can really attract that variety of bird species that you are looking for. Great to hear, Michelle. Orioles. And in fact, we are today talking about the big three that we have been hearing all about. The three birds that are becoming very much excitement driven these past couple days is hummingbirds, orioles, and rose-breasted grosbeaks. All right. All right, so let's get to it. Let's talk about rose-breasted grosbeaks. Let's show you what they look like so you can know if they are coming in your area. Males are pretty easy to identify, right? Males look like this guy up top. Absolutely beautiful. The stunning red on its breast is absolutely amazing. Absolutely a beauty. Females look a little bit like a sparrow. They have that brown coloration to them, but nonetheless, they are still beautiful, about similar size. But one thing that makes them much different than sparrows is that big bill, that very thick, large bill designed to shuck shells. So they are seed eaters, and they absolutely love that. And down here, I also put a picture of an immature male. Let me see if I can show you that really good. So that immature male actually kind of looks like a mix, right? You can kind of see where it looks like the female a little bit, but also it's starting to fill in with that red breast, and that black and white wing is starting to show up. That's what the immatures will look like. The young first year, once they have their young this year, you might start seeing them kind of hang out as they head back south for fall migration. So keep your eyes out as the season goes on. How can you attract rose-breasted grosbeaks to your yard? Well, offer their favorite foods. favorite foods such as safflower, sunflower seeds, bark butter bits, mealworms, peanuts are all their top favorites. Now you might be asking, Ellen, why did you bring over cardinal confetti? Cardinals love cardinal confetti. Well, absolutely. But do you know who else will love cardinal confetti? Is your rose-breasted grosbeaks, because they are cousins of the cardinal. And if anything that the cardinals are going to love, so will your grosbeaks. Okay, so that's why cardinal confetti is such a top contender, because it literally is comprised of all their favorite foods. So this is, if you are telling me come in and you really want to attract grosbeaks, I'm going to give you a bag of cardinal confetti, because I'm telling you this is what they're going to be asking for, okay? Now, it's important too, when we're looking to attract rose-breasted grosbeaks, is to offer it in feeders that are going to be more attractive to them. Let's talk about those. Like cardinals, your rose-breasted grosbeaks like forward-facing eating. So some of these trays, like the Good Evening Cardinal feeder or a tray feeder, are going to be excellent choices for grosbeaks. But also, tube feeders or any feeder that has a large perch, right? We want those wide perches to give them accessibility for forward-facing eating. That's going to be most enjoyed by your grosbeaks. Not to say that they might not use other feeders, but this is going to be preferred, right? It has the style that they like to eat, and if you fill it with their favorite foods, it's going to be hard for them to not want to stay around. All right. Yeah, good to hear. How many Orioles and grosbeaks are sighted? That's right. Let's talk real quick about Orioles. Because Orioles, we have a couple different feeders that I love to use for Oriole season. My first favorite one is this one, because it's a 3-in-1, and I can't resist a 3-in-1 feeder, right? So let's talk about this one real quick, because it is just my favorite. I love this feeder because you can feed them their 3 favorite foods. One is nectar. You put the same nectar that you would offer your hummingbirds in the bottom portion. Yes, they drink nectar. And here on this skewer part, this is a skewer. It also acts as the hanger, but you could skewer a half of an orange on there. Also, in these little wells, that's where I put my jelly. And the best thing about it is that not only the Orioles will take advantage of this, but also your hummingbirds can also use this feeder to drink that nectar out of. So it's a great all-in-one feeder for a couple of our favorite migratory birds. But of course, there's other kinds of feeders that are great for Orioles. One that we use here at the store is similar to this. I think we have the one that actually has a 2-cup one, but essentially you have a cup for your jelly and then skewers for oranges here. All right, this is a great one. It has that lid, so you don't have to worry about getting a dome. It's already covered. It's very hardy. Not gonna be able to knock this off and be broken. It's real sturdy. This guy is a very easy, low, minimalist feeder, but nonetheless, it's a great one. And the reason why I love it too is because you can still offer the jelly and the oranges, some of their favorite foods. The cup is for the jelly, and then these little spikes right here, if you can see them, these little spikes here are for oranges. So you can skewer the oranges on there, or halves or quarters, and put them on there, and they're gonna love this feeder too. So I love, love, love these feeders. And speaking about foods that they like, besides the nectar and the oranges, they do like jelly, and I swear by birdberry jelly, partially because it doesn't have any of the added sugars, it has no artificial flavors, it doesn't have added fructose, high fructose corn syrup in it. It's an all-natural birdberry jelly. And yes, there are whole berries in it. I really recommend to take off the lid completely and then pour it out, because otherwise, if you don't and you open up the cap like this, try push a berry out of that little sliver of an opening. It's very tricky. So I like to take the lid completely off like that, squirt the jelly out, and cut it with either a knife, a spoon, or a fork to put it in my container that I'm filling. Again, a little bit goes a long way. You don't need a lot. Even though we're not in those high temperatures yet, it still is better to be fresh and new versus putting a heaping amount of jelly out there after several days goes by, okay? Smaller is better, okay? Mealworms are another favorite of Orioles, believe it or not, whether it's dried or lived. Mealworms are a top contender for our Orioles, and if you put these out there, you may even be surprised and what other migratory birds you might attract. So keep a thought out about mealworms. And finally, let's talk about, I want to show you about Orioles. Because I have these pictures here, and I wanted to show you. So we actually get two types of Orioles in our area. The one that's most common is the Baltimore Oriole. That really bright orange with a black is very common. But we also get another Oriole, and that's the Orchard Oriole. And the Orchard Oriole actually looks a little bit like a, if you weren't really paying attention, it could possibly look like a robin. But is in fact an Oriole. They kind of have more of a rust colored breast versus that bright orange like you see on the Baltimore Orioles. Females look a little bit more yellow in coloration or a muted orange, but nonetheless they are beautiful and they have a beautiful song. So listen out for them. Turn on Merlin every once in a while to see if you can capture that. Do I get a million wasps from those sweet factor? Well, that's an interesting topic. So, occasionally in the summer, you do get a lot of bees or wasps that might be attracted to that sweetness. There are a couple tricks that might be able to get away with them. Some of them require cloves and things like that. But at this point in time, you shouldn't be having too much issues with bees and wasps as it's still pretty early in the season. Oh, great. I'm so glad to hear, guys. All right. Now, the other one I want to talk about is our hummingbird. And believe it or not, one was sighted in Crete, and there have been a couple other sightings in Will County if you look on hummingbirdcentral.org. And our hummingbirds that we get in our area are the ruby throats, right? So the male sports that beautiful red throat. The female has just a white belly and no red at all. And juveniles will start looking like this. And remember I told you the juveniles start looking like a guy that maybe cut himself shaving? That is exactly what they kind of look like, with the red starting to appear, at least with juveniles. Female immatures are really hard to tell because they look identical to mom. So you can't quite tell if they're a youngster or not, but nonetheless, it's still fun to kind of keep your eye out for some of them as they start showing up and having their young. And yes, so they have been sighted in Will County, and today I even saw that one was sighted in Crete, which is in Will County, so that's exciting. And hummingbirds like that nectar recipe. I absolutely love our high perch hummingbird feeders. Couple reasons why I love this feeder. One, it's super easy to fill, right? It also comes with the hummingbird recipe etched in the actual feeder. So if you ever wonder, oh, how do I make that recipe? Oh, 1 part table sugar, 4 parts water. It's all on here. You never have to forget that ratio. Okay, number 2 reason I love this feeder is that there's no dripping. Because it's top filling and you don't have to turn something over to fill it, you never see any drips and nectar on the ground, okay? So that's a really great reason I love this feeder. Of course, with that high perch ring here, just like you like to sit and eat, so do your birds. And if you give hummingbirds a place to sit, you will get to see them longer and enjoy them longer while they're visiting your feeder. This particular model has that built-in ant moat. So you fill this portion right here in the middle with water, and the ants can't get across to get at your nectar. You can get an extra attachment for this that goes underneath here on your ports, and they're to keep the bees away. So if you cover those ports with the nectar guards, the bees won't be able to get access in it, and only your hummingbirds will be able to enjoy the nectar. All right. Big thing about hummingbird feeders is that we want to make sure that we're maintaining them and keeping them clean. We know that hummingbirds are very susceptible to disease and bacteria when they're coming to your feeders. So it's really important that every time that you're changing out that nectar, give this a good scrub. Whether you're putting this in the dishwasher, you can in the top setting, the top drawer, or if you're just doing the regular old scrub in the sink, either way, make sure you take extra precaution around the port areas. All right, make sure you're looking for mold, black dots, and anything like that. All right, I love our hummingbird nectar with Nectar Defender. And it may not be that important right now as we're still in kind of cool temperatures, but when we get into our dog days of summer, let me tell you, you might have to be changing that nectar daily. Well, with Nectar Defender in this product, you're actually naturally extending the life of the nectar up to 2 weeks. Now, for some of you, that might be a golden key, right? You're a busy mom or a busy dad, parent, you have a busy work schedule, and it's just tricky to handle hummingbird feeders when you have to change it daily. Well, this stuff works really well. Oh, that's exciting, Hope. That's awesome. Let us know where you're from so we can know where you saw your first hummingbird. Yeah, it's tricky. Okay, hummingbirds. So our ruby throat, Donna, I hear you, so the comment was, I've never gotten to see 2 hummingbirds eat together at the same time. And I'll tell you the reason why that is. Because ruby throat hummingbirds are one of the most territorial hummingbird species out there. In fact, I'm willing to say that they are the most territorial, non-friendly to other hummingbirds, birds of the hummingbird species. They are on a different planet when they come up to Illinois, right? When you see all those hummingbirds hanging out at one feeder, like, where is that? Oh, I don't think I even brought it over here. Some of the images where you see 5+ hummingbirds on one feeder, that's probably either way south or on the west coast. Okay, and the reason is either it's a different species of hummingbird, or it's down south where they are just beginning their journey and they aren't as concerned about territories. They're not so concerned about fighting for resources. When they come up to our area here, they are playing a different game. When they reach up here, it's each man or woman for himself. And males and females have their own separate territory. And when they come together to do nesting duties and to mate, they go actually on neutral ground. They cannot be in one's territory or the other's territory. That's not a thing. They go on neutral ground to mate, and then the male flies off and the female does the rest for nesting duties. The thing is, with our ruby throat hummingbirds, is that they are so defensive over resources. Okay, resources are hard to come by. And in nesting season, it's not a time to play around. You need all the resources you need to raise your young. Okay, so when it comes to sharing, that is not a thing for hummingbirds. My recommendation, if you want more hummingbirds, is to place more hummingbird feeders, but out of sight of each other. And the reason is because if this one is in, let's say, the front of the house, and you have one in the back of the house, the hummingbirds in the front of the house are not going to be able to tell that there are hummingbirds in the back of the house. Okay, it could be as simple as behind a tree, right? You have a big evergreen, maybe on one side of the evergreen you have one feeder and another hummingbird feeder on the other side. The more hummingbird feeders you have, it kind of opens it up for more availability, right? But the key is to hide them out of sight of each other so that they don't see and try to chase the other ones away. All right, I hope that kind of helps a little bit. Now the big thing that, like we said, all birds need is water. Water makes the world go round. And for that reason, that's why putting out your bird baths are so important this time of year. But if you can get that water moving, you are going to attract so much more birds. All right, whether it's a solar water fountain that you just put in your bird bath and it will, the solar panel will allow it to work and it'll start to fountain up for you. I love this water wiggler too. This one actually, you put batteries in it, but it just vibrates the water just slightly enough to get that movement going. Any type of movement is going to be absolutely irresistible for your birds, okay? But the Drecker Mister is by far one of the favorites of hummingbirds, but other birds too, but hummingbirds love that mist setting that you can do with this. So if you haven't tried one already, this might be the year to try something different and offer water in a different way that you haven't before. Oh, great, new Lennox, April 19th, very nice, good spot. Absolutely. So hummingbirds have been spotted in our areas. You just be patient and they're going to be finding your feeders soon. Make sure that you're putting them up out and making sure that nectar is fresh. Just like you don't like to eat old, gross food, neither do your birds. So make sure we're changing it frequently, keeping that food fresh. With this rain that we had, make sure we go out there and check that there isn't a lot of clumping inside of feeders. With seed feeders, I like to take my seed tube feeder and give it a good shake. If you see any clumping in it, you know that the food in the tube feeder is wet. Okay, it's a good time to dump it out and let it dry out and then refill it with fresh food to keep those birds coming back. All right. All right, I told you it would be a short one today. I will see you next Friday, but hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. Don't forget we have Kelsey Shaw coming by to talk about 4-season interest with native plants, or creating 4-season interest with native plants at 11 o'clock. And then next weekend, we have our in-person plant sale with Good Steward Ecoscapes Friday and Saturday from 10 to 4 p.m. And on Saturday, May 3rd, we have our bird outing at Possibility Place Nursery. If you'd like to take advantage of that event, please give us a call and let us know you're coming. All right, guys, you have a great Friday. We'll see you next time. Bye now.